Hey everyone, welcome to day 17 of my 30-day savings challenge. We're gonna jump right into it with one of my favorite quotes, something I say all the time, which is that I'd rather be rich than look rich. Repeat after me, I'd rather be rich than look rich. And the point of this is the problem that most people in the world have with money is that they're so caught up in trying to appear a certain way, trying to buy the fanciest house that they can afford, the fanciest car that they can afford, keeping up with the Joneses, that they can never actually build actual wealth. And the visual way to look at this is if they get a raise one year, so their income starts to go up, if they get the raise next year, their income looks like this. However, what happens is that their expenses also look like this. Their expenses are going up. So you would assume that if they're making more money next year, they would have a better savings rate. They would be able to save more money and invest more of their money for their future. But no, you could go and make a 50K raise and still have the same exact savings rate because what you've done with that extra 50K you're now making, you've spent it. And that's what most people, their life trajectory looks like. That's why that's called lifestyle inflation. Income, expenses both go up together. So that gap between their income and expenses, the actual savings, remains the same all through their lives. And that's why most people will never ever get ahead. But you're different. You're part of this challenge with me. And one of the things we really want to consciously think about is how can we keep our expenses basically flatlined and not increase our lifestyle that much while over the years our income increases. So then look what this is hard, but then look what happens to our savings rate. Our savings rate gets larger each year, and that's how you can actually build wealth that will allow you to one day become financially free where you don't have to work for money anymore. Isn't that the coolest thing? So that's why I repeat it to myself quite often. I'd rather be rich than look rich. Yes, in my 20s, I was trying to keep up with the Joneses. I was trying to impress people. I was buying the brand name Coach purses because I felt like I wanted to fit in and I wanted to be seen, and I didn't want to stand out as having less than other people, especially when I went to this college and everyone had these nice things and I was wearing clothes from Goodwill. So I understand the need to feel like you want to spend to fit in, but I think one of the greatest things that we can do for ourselves is to fight that need and to try to really only buy things that make us happy and not buy things because we want to impress people who we don't even really care about with money that we don't even really have to spend. So let me calm down. That was quite a passionate rant, but I hope you get my point. I'd rather be rich than look rich. And my life really changed when I found myself with $200,000 of debt. And I realized that unless I myself made a change to my life, I was never going to get out of debt. I was never going to be financially free. And I was never going to feel that the weight of having all of that debt lifted off of my shoulders. So I said, okay, I have to make a change. What can I change? And that's when I decided I needed to have a minimalist lifestyle. I really needed to cut out all of these wants, all of these things I was spending money on aimlessly, and just stick to the bare necessities so that I could just funnel all of my income, the majority of it, towards paying off my debt and getting to a place where I would be debt-free. And so in that, I made quite a drastic change to my life. I said, I have all of the clothes that I need, so I really don't need any more, so I'm not going to shop. I'm not going to just spend excessively. And while at the time that felt like a temporary short-term sacrifice that I was making for my ultimate goal of becoming debt-free, what happened with those years that I spent being very frugal and just conscious of my money so I could get out of debt, what happened is it became internalized. It became a part of who I was. And by the time I paid off my debt, I had all of my income coming in and I could afford to go shopping if I wanted to. But what I found was I no longer wanted those fancy Coach purses. I no longer wanted the things that once seemed like they mattered a lot to me. And so what started as a short-term sacrifice that I made to reach that goal of being debt-free became part of me and a habit that I continue to this day. So if you want any inspiration, just watch any of these videos. This one is about 45 things to declutter. This one is 7 easy minimalist habits I used to save money. This one we already watched. This one, not as useful. This one's talking about how I got into this mindset of I wanted to get rid of things that I was keeping in my life just in case. This one's probably the most extreme. This is when I decided to sell and donate almost everything I had to reduce my life to 2 suitcases. kind of extreme. But any of these will be really good today for inspiration as you're trying to think about how can I change my life so that instead of living a life that I want people to think I'm living, so basically instead of looking like I'm rich, I can actually be rich. How can I make those changes? So today we have 2 little things to do. The first up is the hanger challenge. Okay, so for the hanger challenge, what you're gonna do is come to your closet, and right now I assume all of the hangers are facing like this, where it's curved this way. Okay, but what you're gonna do is reverse everything so that the hangers, this part is facing you. Okay? So fast forward, let's pretend that I've done that for all of the clothes in my closet. So now, over the next 6 months, what you're gonna do is every time you wear a piece of clothing, that graduates to coming back to facing away from you. So when you look, if you're facing your closet like that, it should look like this. So then what happens is at the end of the 6 months, you're gonna be able to assess which clothes you've worn in the last 6 months and which clothing you haven't worn at all. And chances are, if you haven't worn clothing in 6 months, the chances that you'll wear them in the next 6 months, pretty low, right? So what you'll do then is at the end of the 6 months, you have an honest assessment with yourself. And what I would recommend is the clothes that you haven't worn in 6 months, you're gonna donate or sell them, because you really want to minimize your wardrobe, minimize your lifestyle, and just learn from this that you don't necessarily need all the clothes that you think you need. Okay, now part 2 of today's challenge is to sell or donate something that's been lying around your house that has served you a purpose at one point, but you don't need anymore. And it would be better to donate it to someone who could use it, or sell it to someone who could use it, and also at the same time benefit by making a little cash off of it. So that's the challenge. Report back to me in the Discord community how today's challenge went, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.